Welcome everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We're here with an amazing artist, a great friend and great talent, Deepak, also known for his music name Dphelion. So Deepak, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Alan. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. It's awesome doing so much music. Can you walk us through how did you start out with the music Dphelion? Like how did you came up with that name?
The name? Sure. So basically, Dphelion is a play on two words: my name, Deepak, and the word aphelion. So aphelion means the when something is in orbit to the sun or a sun, it's when it's at the farthest point in orbit.
Mhm.
So Deepak and aphelion becomes Dphelion.
Oh, nice. That's good. Yeah, I could see that, on a lot of your albums, you have wonderful pictures of, a lot of space themes. So is sort of the orbit and the space theme sort of the message you're trying to get across or sort of your main themes for your
Yeah,
albums?
yeah. Space is definitely one of my biggest themes. Sky, yeah, space and sky, pretty much.
That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of times with, sky, space, it relates to a lot of music, the freedom. So I love to explore that with you more. So
Yeah,
can you
I
tell me?
really like space too. That's
Oh,
like
that's awesome.
stars in space. Yeah.
Perfect. So what first got you into music? Because I remember you were amazing talent. Back in high school, you were, doing solos for the choirs. You were doing amazing. You're making your YouTube videos. And then right
Mm.
now you decided to, after college, start your music professionally. What got you sort of started into music from the first place?
From the first place,
Hmm.
it's hard to say. It's like I've always had that love for music. So, like listening to music is like a huge and was and still is a huge part of my life. So, taking it from that point, I wanted to create my own music and make something that could relate to myself. So that's why I started, writing stuff down, making my own tunes, and trying to relate it to my own life. And that's how I started getting more and more into the production stage and writing, composing songs.
That's awesome. Do you feel like with music, it's sort of like a relief of stress and sort of like a sort of escape, sort of a way for you to just release different kind of emotions and be able to re-energize your emotions and stuff?
Yeah, I feel like it's all of them actually. Just it's everything for me. It's like a stress reliever. It calms my mind, takes me to like a complete like another place when I'm like playing guitar, like singing or trying to write music. I'm very focused. I feel very committed when I'm trying to create this whole project with my lyrics and with the chords and everything.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Speaking of that, talking about your creative process with the chords and the music, can you walk us through sort of what your creative process is like in
Sure.
terms of making the music? Hmm.
Yeah, so it depends. Sometimes I'll just sit on the like on my piano and just start, playing some chords and just like freestyling some tunes, some lyrics that are just come out of my mouth.
Hmm.
And other times I'll go on my computer and start writing chords there and producing, like trying to get cool sounds to come out of the computer and see what kind of feeling I get with those sounds or those chords that I'm writing. And sometimes I have a lot of lyrics from my college years and high school years, and I kind of take that and try to like evolve it, kind of redevelop it. Just use some of my old material and try to make new stuff with that.
Awesome, awesome. And do you feel like with the sort of the creative process, do you feel like it's sort of, just it comes naturally to you, or you feel like just you're walking through, doing your daily task, brushing your teeth in the shower, it just sort of you get that motivational sort of tune or beat, or do you have to sort of, sort of try to and come up with the tune?
It's both actually. Sometimes it comes to me at like the most random places. Yeah, like in the shower, brushing my teeth, in the car sometimes. That's why having the phone is like really handy because has the voice memo. So I would just record something or I also have like a notebook on there, so I would write down lyrics as soon as it like pops in my head. Write down. Other times when I'm working on a project and like the flow, it doesn't come so naturally, so easily. I kind of spend time sitting trying to figure out, what is the theme of the song, what is the story of the song, and just kind of just keep like spend at least even on one line. Sometimes I'll spend like at least like more than like 10 minutes trying to get the best like sentence I can, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's perfect. I really like how you're saying that, each of your song, you're trying to tell a story. you're trying to
Mm.
paint like a distinctive image and convey a story to, you know, the audience. So like, what is one message you will give to your audience, to your fans, or to the people who listen to you?
Do you mean through my music, or do
Yeah,
you
so
mean
your
like that
music, in
type?
terms of your music, what is one message, key message that you're trying to communicate? Because in your titles, you have your songs like One Exception, Miss You, all
Mhm.
these songs. Is there any shared message that you want to combine sort of to convey to the audience?
Um, I mean, most of it I base it off my experiences. So a message I would say, like, maybe like if people relate to my music, um, it's it's like kind of saying like, oh, you're not alone. I know how you feel, and just connecting with the audience is the biggest part of making music. So just yeah, my message would be like, oh, you're not alone. Like I get it, and yeah, like my experiences are no different from yours, kind of.
Yeah, I can really relate to that because, you know, going through, listening to the songs, I can really connect to my experience, like, you know, with my own experience. Listen to the different songs, Miss
Mm,
You, My Exception. When I'm listening to each of the lyrics, each of the lyrics sort of trigger my own story, my own past, my own, you know, happiness in the past or sadness in the past. It triggers and in a
mm,
way sort of help me relate, knowing that, you know, letting the audience know that, you know, we're not alone. You know, we're just people, you know, talented people like you and other people, artists who are sharing the same kind of, you know, feelings and emotions. So I think it's really a good way to, you know, spread those connections towards your audience. I think it's really helpful, and I think it's a blessing for people to hear that because it's really, they can relate to that really well.
yeah, exactly. We're all human. We're all the same.
Nice, nice, nice. So what would you say right now, since you're trying to focus on music right now full time, what is sort of like an average day like for you in terms of making music? What's the average day like for you in terms of, you know, going through music, going through
Mm,
your life, and how you balance between your personal life, your music, etc.
right. So, um, I mean, most of the time, like what happens throughout my day depends. But the overview is basically like when I get up, I work out, and then as soon as I'm done, you know, eating whatever, I come to my room and I just start working on my music. And sometimes it'll be like, oh, I gotta create a song, or sometimes I have to go on Photoshop and work on my cover art. And yeah, I do that at least. Like I spend a lot of time like not just one thing, not just the Photoshop, but like Photoshop, making my song, working on the computer for the production, at least like 8 hours, and then comes like the relaxation part, and I just chill after that.
That's good. Do you ever get sort of like burn out with it? Like you're making all this music and doing the art. Do you ever feel like a little bit tired, or do you feel like it's a
Yeah,
passion?
I do. I do get burned out, but it's like it doesn't matter. Like I do get burned out, but it's just like I want to get this done. I like doing this. Like oh, it's kind of frustrating a little bit that oh I'm not getting this like I'm not getting this right the right word or the right delivery of the sentence. But like it's just like I like doing it, so I'm just gonna keep doing it until I get it. No big deal.
Hmm. Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
And in your songs, I listen to your song, you know, on the surface level, I can hear a lot of it relate to a lot of meanings. But I feel like through each of your song, as you build up each of the song, I feel like through each of the song, I'm finding a lot of unique sort of hidden message. So would you say in your song, do you just have a surface level in meaning, or would you say that in your songs there is a hidden level, you know, hidden level of meaning inside your music that's hidden and for you to like sort of only for you to know, but it's hidden inside the song?
Right. Well, yeah. Well, when I make the music, I try to make it somewhat general. There is obviously like a hidden message, and I don't try to go too deep into it.
Hmm.
But it's also so the audience can like relate to it. So if I go too deep, then it's all about me. And that's
Hmm.
not the point. So there's both a hidden message and there's a general message to it for the
That's
audience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty. That's really, really nice. And you know, right now it's awesome that your music, you know, everyone make sure to look at like Deepak's music on Spotify and stuff. It's really nice. It's on SoundCloud. It's also on iTunes. Literally every platform is on there. So it's really nice. So would you say that, you know, when going to the sort of like recording studios, you know, would you ever say you have any performance anxiety? Because, you know, going there, you know, recording trapped in one room, you have your microphone by yourself, your audience outside, people are listening, the producers are looking. Do you ever experience any sort of performance anxiety or nerves, you know?
Um, I don't I don't really get the kind of anxiety where it's like, oh, the like, you know, someone's watching me, or like it's more as like, oh, I want my song to turn out properly. Oh, like I'm kind of worried that, oh, you know, am I missing something? Like, is my can I write something better for the lyric, or um that just I'm just more worried about how my song ends up, really, not about actually going there and performing. That turns out like doing it is not a big problem for me.
Oh, that's awesome. It's awesome that you're able to sort of conquer your nerves and really just focus on your message, focus on your songs,
Yeah.
focus on your content. And that's really awesome that you're able to really dive down deep into that.
Yeah.
So, going to the near sort of future next, within the recent like years, would you say that where do you sort of see yourself standing in the industry? Like, where do you want your sort of music to be at, and how, like, what kind of level in terms of, your like different kind of platforms, maybe going on live tours, or maybe having
Mhm.
sort of like small Instagram concerts or live concerts that people can sort of be able to watch and be able to sort of see in a live kind of performance.
Right. So, okay, my computer's kind of messing up. But in the future, basically, I want to see my music on like more playlists, just presented to a bigger audience, I'd say. Um, at some point I want to make an album, so like, I want to like have a big enough audience to make an album, so I can make like a themed album, revolving around one kind of message, maybe have like a story told throughout 12 songs, and have that be a big event. At some point I do want to do live shows. I'm not too worried about that right now, obviously because of the circumstances, but yeah, at some point I would like to do live shows. And yeah, I want to also at some point work with a lot of people, get to know a lot of people in the music industry, and work with more producers, and maybe collaborate with other singers and rappers too. That'd be nice.
Nice, nice. And what kind of sort of like singers would you want to collaborate with? Any sort of in mind, or so sort of what kind of like genre, or what kind of style of collaboration do you see yourself doing in the near future?
I honestly, what would be nice is like somebody who's like outside of my genre,
Hmm.
so that like I like get another experience. Maybe I
Hmm.
can like try out another side of my vocals, um, like something new that's like different from my own music, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's really nice because a lot of artists, they focus on one genre. I like how you're doing the trial and error. You're not afraid to take on new genre. You could even try, genre that you never even tried before. It could be even country. It could be even all sorts of stuff, hip hop, pop, all sorts of stuff. Dark R&B. So being able to take the risk to do that is sort of like definitely a phenomenal aspect that I really admire in
Mm,
you. So that's really awesome.
right.
Um, Going through so like what kind of advice would you have for example, if someone wants to follow your footsteps in terms of, a lot of people, they want to sort of do music, they have a passion for music, and they want to sort of, have the music be heard and be
Mm,
able to reach out to more audience. And right now you're doing a really good job of, you know, starting out very, very well, very strong on your different platforms, getting a lot of monthly views, at least 40, 50, around that, a lot of 60, 70 views on Spotify, and getting a lot of, support. What kind of advice would you want to give to someone who wants to follow your footsteps?
I'd say don't be discouraged at all at any point. If you really want it, just keep going. Have some consistency and just keep going ahead strong. And eventually, if you keep that persistence, you eventually it'll turn out fine. That's what I have to say. Like sometimes even I used to get discouraged, and sometimes I still do. Just for like little things on my music, like I'm having trouble making it, or something along those lines. So it's easy to get discouraged, but just stay strong and keep doing what you love doing, and just be smart about the things you try to do. Don't be afraid to try out new things, see what fits your style, and yeah, just keep doing it.
I know, I love that from you, being able to, come back and not be discouraged and keep pushing through. So maybe, maybe give us sort of like example of one of like, a big problem that you ever encounter in your journey of music. Maybe having that sort of, we can relate to that, and sort of for people who want to go that path, they can sort of relate into that. So what kind of problems have you encountered in your journey of going in that music industry here?
Um, let's say like the first few songs, performance wise, they were good, but I didn't get like too much, like, like, oh, subscribers, followers, commitment. And so I was like, oh man, like, do people not like the music? Do people not, uh, just want to listen to more music? But after that, I was like, you know what? I don't really care. I'm just gonna keep doing this because I love doing it. And then eventually, the subscribers came when they realized that I was serious about this, and I just had to give it time, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then very important thing about you as a person, as a characteristic, is that a lot of musicians, before they get a lot of training in terms of singing lessons, guitar lessons, and all sorts of piano lessons. But you started playing the piano yourself. You're able to play on the keyboard, do the guitar, all self-learn. So how are
Mm.
you able to sort of like how are you able to sort of like go through those and be able to for people that who don't have much money in terms of taking lessons, what kind of advice would you give them for being able to self-learn and be able to self go down that music path, even though we might not have the support of financial of getting lessons, you know.
Would you have the instrument? Like, you need
You
the instrument to
yeah,
like.
you will have the instrument, but maybe like let's say that you will not get the sort of the financial support. If someone doesn't have the financial support to get lessons, what kind of advice? Because you went through it yourself, you're able to you're doing well in terms of it's not that your financial reason, but you went through yourself, meaning you went through that phase where you learned by yourself and picked up without really going through a lot of lessons. So for people who can sort of relate to that, like who don't have like a lot of income to go through music lessons, what kind of sort of advice would you give so that they can be able to still tackle the music path and learn those
Mhm.
instruments and find their own path in that
Yeah,
industry?
so it depends on your style of learning. If you're like me, you're kind of like a trial and error kind of guy.
Mhm.
You don't really learn by like listening or watching. I learned by just doing it myself. Like playing the piano, I learned by playing it and like, oh, this sounds okay, this sounds right, this sounds right. Eventually I figured out chords myself. Even on the guitar, I figured out simple chords by myself. And also there's, for other type of learners, there's a lot of tools online. YouTube, just simple, any page has like sheets like telling you how to place your fingers on the guitar, where to place your fingers on the piano, and what chords to play, what comes after this chord, what comes after this chord. There's a lot of tools, so you just got to do your research, and also figure out what your kind of style of learning is,
Mhm. That's
and go
that's
from there.
that's really awesome. Being able to self-learn, self-pickup is definitely it goes back to your point of being able to find when you're discouraged, be able to bounce back and not be discouraged when things gets really tough. And I think it's an
Right.
artist, going through those. I think it makes you stronger every time you go through different challenges. So it's really nice to go
Yeah.
through that. Um, so nice. And then one thing I also wanted to ask you is that, you know, so basically, if it wasn't for your music career, what would you be doing right now? Like, imagine if you just didn't have music here, what would you actually be doing, like, without music career?
uh, that's hard to say because music has like, it's very very impactful on my life. But for the sake of the question, I have a degree in finance,
Mhm.
so I would be pursuing to be a financial advisor. I kind of started that already, and but then my love for music kind of overtook me, and I was like, I set that aside and started my music career. But if I didn't have music, I would keep going with a financial advisor
Mhm.
career. Yeah,
That's, mhm.
but like music has helped me a lot, and I feel like that's a really necessary part of my life. But yeah, I would do finance instead.
Mhm. Would you say that throughout the process of being with the music, I know you love music so much. It's everything. It's part of you. It's how you release your emotions. It release how you express how you feel and really convey your message. Would you say that your parents are very supportive of you in the process of doing music, or?
Yeah, definitely. They're really like supportive. Right? Like my dad helps me with the financial side, even the like marketing side, and just he helps me do like he does his own research too. So he helps me with every aspect of it. My mom is very supporting, just
Mm.
who she is, And I mean, at first, of course, they were a bit skeptical of this.
Mhm.
Um, they wanted me to pursue finance, but they were very very supportive of my decision and understanding that music, I like really needed to do it. It wasn't about wanting to do it. It's something I needed to do, for myself and for my own like mental being and for my own health kind of. So yeah, that's why they helped me a lot. They're very
Mhm.
supportive.
And that's really nice to get that support. Like a lot of with like different Asian parents or different parents in general. A lot of times, going through that path, even though being music is very good, sometimes it might be a risk to parents' eyes. Parents might think that they might be skeptical, thinking that it's a
Mhm.
big risk. So a lot of parents might not be really supportive. So for those people, for example, who are trying to do music, and let's say that the parents don't support them, what advice would you say in terms of, would you keep going that route in terms of music and just pursue that goal, or would you sort of go with the norm in terms of doing finance and sort of stay with the norm?
Mhm. I'd say just be smart about it. What I did was I did finance, so like now I have a backup plan in
Mhm.
case music doesn't turn out well, like knock on wood. But I have a backup plan, so it's like a smart decision, smart move, just being safe. So don't like, I mean, if your parents are not supportive, I can't really say anything because like I'm kind of the person who listens to my parents,
Mm.
and and they're very supportive. So it's not that much of like a heated. There was no like you know arguments or anything like that. So I mean, I just say just be smart about what you do. Just make sure. I mean, it's okay to not listen to your parents if you really love doing music, but just be smart about what you're doing and have a backup planning. Just have a backup plan.
Mhm.
That's all.
That's awesome. And thanks so much, Deepak. And we really, really appreciate your time today. And everybody, make sure to really look at Deepak on Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes. And really, I'll link it down below. It's awesome what Deepak does. He makes his own music. You create your own music all the way from scratch to your own digital app from your own devices. So every single beat, every single lyrics, literally every single part is from your own. It's phenomenal how you do it. So make sure to take a look at that. And Deepak, thanks for your time, and I wish you a very good luck in the rest of your music journey. And I'll continue to support your journey and listen to your music. Thanks so much for
Thank you
bringing
for
us
having me,
passion.
Alan. Yeah, thank
Awesome.
you. Awesome.